Here's what's coming up on your horizon. Well, as thousands of troops are set to return from Afghanistan over the next 2 years, veterans on the home front say they're seeing growing support to help them transition to the civilian workforce. Today, we'll look how several groups are coming together to get our veterans back at home, back to work.
We're trying to help our veterans, our military men and women who have come back from service, who have tremendous skill sets to go out into the private sector to find jobs.
Arkela Kellen visits a short-term training program designed to give returning veterans some long-term work skills. I'll sit down with Oklahoma's Secretary of Veteran Affairs, Major General Rita Aragon, and we'll look at a growing problem in the military of growing waistlines. And I'll visit a classroom that's helping students eat better and stay fit.
Well, we know that this is the first generation of children that are not going to outlive their parents. And that's a very frightening statistic.
Stay with us for Oklahoma Horizon.
Oklahoma Horizon is made possible by the Oklahoma Department of Career and Technology Education.
Oklahoma's investment in Career Tech provides more than nationally recognized technology education and training. It produces solid financial returns for the state's economic future. Oklahoma Career Tech, elevating our economy.
And the Oklahoma Department of Agriculture, Food, and Forestry, helping good people grow good things. And now, from the Career Tech Studios in Stillwater, here's your host, Rob McClendon.
Hello everyone, thanks for joining us here on Horizon. Well, there are some confusing numbers when it comes to the unemployment situation for our veterans. Labor statistics show that the number of unemployed post 9/11 veterans is higher this year than last. But at the same time, the number of returning veterans is also on the rise. In fact, when you look at veterans as a whole, both post 9/11 and pre 9/11 veterans, they are actually more likely to be employed than the general population by about a half a percentage point, which is good news, especially if you are the veteran looking for a job. Here's our Andy Barth.
Well, our men and women in uniform work tirelessly to protect our borders, freedoms, and rights. But when they come home after their service, many are left without a job. But a group of dedicated Oklahomans say that is all about to change. They protect our nation both home and abroad. But when their time in the armed forces is done, who protects them? The number of returning veterans who now find themselves jobless is growing, but some Oklahomans are aiming to change that. Former Major General Rita Aragon.
The Department of Commerce. This kind of event brings those people who really are dedicated to hiring veterans and the veterans who need a job. Some of them have tremendous skills that are really needed to keep the business and enterprise of Oklahoma running.
Jobless veterans is a national problem, but Oklahoma is the only state to go to the front lines to help our servicemen and women.
This is the first state that's ever made this kind of effort. The Department of Commerce, Employer Support for the Guard and Reserve, the Oklahoma Employment Security Commission, and certainly Career Tech that has been such a great partner, pulling everything together for us with their skills and technology and their ability to grant certification for military skills is unprecedented.
So proud of what we're doing.
And Governor
for
Mary
our
Fallon
men and
says
women
our troops
who
are
have
highly
given so
qualified.
much to our nation, and certainly we're trying to help our veterans, our military men and women who have come back from service, who have tremendous skill sets to go out into the private sector to find jobs.
Jobs sought after by all branches of the military.
Obviously, you're not going to care. Getting ready to retire from the Navy after 20 years.
Kenny Calden is a former flight engineer instructor for the U.S. Navy and says the state's support means a lot.
It shows the state cares about their veterans, so instead of just retiring and having to do everything on your own, it's great to know that we got resources to use and be able to go out there and find them.
It's very rewarding and refreshing for the military member because many of them are so tired of saying, I don't even know where to start. Now we have a place to start.
Serving our veterans for the way they served us. Now, this year's event will be held Thursday, June 6th at Fort Sill near Lawton, and our veterans can expect to visit with around 50 potential employers.
Well, for veterans transitioning back into the civilian world, it's not simply about finding a job, any job. It's about transitioning into jobs they actually want to work. Joining me now is our Keela Kellen.
Well, Rob, Michael Harris says he's been creative all of his life, even graduating with honors in art. So when he returned home from the battlefield, Harris is re-sparking his life's passion. With sparks flying, Michael Harris is hard at work on his latest project. But welding is something new for him.
I was a K-9 handler in the Marine Corps for 11 years. And so it's kind of a tight-knit group to be in K-9, and you know, it's like a brotherhood. I mean, the whole service itself is like a brotherhood when you go and put your life on the line next to another person and expect that person to do their job, and you know, you knowing that because he's doing his job that you're going to be protected and such forth. The feelings are mutual.
After serving in the Marine Corps, Michael realized he had an opportunity to pursue his passion.
I've always enjoyed doing things with my hand. You know, I grew up, my father was an electrician, so I kind of grew up in the construction trades. Did a little bit of electrical work, but it was a job, it was money. It wasn't something that, you know, I really enjoyed to the fullest extent. So after getting out of the Marine Corps, I had my GI Bill and I wanted to go back and, you know, get some more knowledge or another key skill that I can use out in the job field. So basically, welding it was. I can do welding, make good money, and I can still kind of appease my artistic abilities through the welding. It gives me another medium to work with. Now instead of wood and plastics and drawing and stuff, now I have metal that I can shape and make things out of. So that was kind of my inspiration on doing the welding program. And of course, you know, it pays good money as well in the construction trade. So,
by using his past as inspiration, Michael has added meaning to his work.
This was an inspiration for me due to my past handling experience, and no matter what happens with it, this will eventually be donated to Camp Pendleton K-9 section for past, present, and future handlers. And hopefully it'll live on with the brotherhood and everyone will enjoy it.
A work of art and an inspiration to those who have served.
So Keela, it sounds like this is a passion that Michael can certainly take with him for a lifetime.
Well, Rob, after meeting with him and getting a feel for his passion, it's apparent that he plans to use the skills that he's learned at Tri-County Technology Center and use them for years to come.
Well, certainly an inspiring story. Thank you so much, Keela.
You're welcome, Rob.
Now when we return, I sit down with Oklahoma's Secretary of Veteran Affairs, Major General Rita Aragon.
You're watching Oklahoma Horizon, featuring some of the good things that are happening in the great state of Oklahoma.
Major General Rita Aragon, thank you so much for being here.
It's a real pleasure to be back. Thank you so much.
Now, I have the latest Department of Labor statistics of Iraq and Afghanistan era veterans, and it says there's an estimated 220,000, this is national, people that are without work, and then that was this year, and that's an increase from 185 last year. So I guess my question, what do those numbers tell you?
Well, it tells us a couple of things. One is that we've always known that veterans were unemployed at a rate of about 3 to 1 to non-veterans. And that's because they come back and there are a lot of things that keep them from rushing right out and getting a job. There are also things that happen to them that make them not as easily employable as they might have been before they got injured or hurt or had a traumatic brain injury or some of those things. It also tells me that we're downsizing the military a great deal, and to be truthful, from what I'm hearing, people, the military is looking for anything to be able to put you out. So if you are dysfunctional in any kind of area, if you can't do the job that you used to do, they are helping you find your way home. And then when they get home, then they've got to say, okay, now, how do I make a living now?
Let's talk a little bit about those injured veterans. And I know I don't want to portray that all veterans that come back are injured, but those that are, they particularly have a tough time.
Extremely so, because there's a real big gap between getting out of the active duty military and getting in services in the VA, sometimes as much as a year to 18 months. Okay, if I can't get my benefits from the VA and I no longer am drawing a check, I've got to find some way to be able to survive and hopefully to get some medical care. And so what ends up happening is you have some people who are not mentally ready to step into that world to get a job. You have others who are physically not able to step into that world, meaning we have a higher percentage of surviving amputees than we have ever had. But the truth is, it's really incumbent upon states and communities, both local and a global community, to look at how do we make sure these folks are getting some kind of care and are finding a way to make a living. General Eric Shinseki, who's the Secretary of the Veterans Administration in Washington, a former Army four-star who was absolutely a soldier's general who really looked after his people. He's now looking after veterans, and he is saying, we are not going to have people living under bridges like we did after Vietnam. We're not going to have people who can't find a place to stay. We're not going to have this kind of rampant disregard for those who have served our nation so gallantly. And so there are a number of new programs, and I'm really excited because Oklahoma is instituting some of our own programs that have been locally planned and designed, and I think we're doing a lot that maybe people just don't realize what else is going on.
So General Aragon, let's talk about jobs. How are we doing here in the state?
Well, you know, we have a historic low unemployment rate, but still the rate of veterans to non-veterans is about 3 to 1. It is nationally as well. And so there are a lot of things that we're doing to try to make sure that we help folks find jobs when they come back. The state has a great consortium that I'm very, very proud of, and that's okjobmatch.com. And it's pulled Career Tech and the Chamber of Commerce, or the Department of Commerce for the state of Oklahoma, the Oklahoma Employment Security Commission, the Oklahoma Employer Support of the Guard and Reserve, and my department, the Department of Veterans Affairs, pool together to devise and design this system that will allow veterans to come in and go to okjobmatch.com and take every job skill that they've ever had. And we end up doing an awful lot of training in the military on leadership, on interpersonal skills, on job operations, on job management. How do we teach, you know, young men and women to orchestrate and organize other people and get them to do jobs? And we have project managers, and there's such a demand for people who have those abilities and skills. And jobmatch.com literally does that. It lets you sit down and it will ask you questions like, how many people have you ever been responsible for leading or training or mentoring, or, you know, and there are all of those things that they can enter in that help them be able to find a job that helps them meet their potential, instead of just saying, you know, I was a rifleman, I carried a rifle. Well, you did a lot more than that. You were able to learn about security, understanding and giving orders, about your own personal environment, situational awareness, all of those types of things, which employers desire greatly to be able to put people to work in all kinds of areas. Truck drivers, obviously, we talk about that a lot. Chesapeake alone had 800 vacancies wanting heavy truck drivers. And, you know, virtually every person in the military learns to drive equipment and trucks, and that's exactly what they're looking for. Paying some of their, and I'm not talking about cross country, I'm talking about locals where you come home at night, $70,000 a year. Not bad salary for driving a truck that you did on the busiest and scariest roads in the world, and you come home and you go like, okay, we have a little road rage going on now and then, but the truth is, we do have safe highways, but we need people who can manage to negotiate those.
What about those returning veterans that would like to transition into another field, kind of rebrand themselves? Job Match helps there as well.
Absolutely. It takes, you have the opportunity to go to Career Tech, look at something that's very different from what you've done but that you think you can do. You can look at jobs that are very similar to what you used to do in the military, or that you did before you went into the military, or they may be jobs that you want to train to do, and that you go in and say, I think I'm really good in IT. I've had some experience with it, and I'm going to get additional training. And because so many jobs want to train you once you get there. You know, they want someone who is willing and able to learn, ready to take some direction and move on in. And they say, we'll train you when we get you here, if you have the basic skills. And in today's military, you got to be able to read and write and pass entrance exams. And then we tutor them once they get in there. We make sure that they're able to communicate well. And as you know, in your career field, communication is essential. It is in virtually every career that we have. We've got to be able to tell people during some part of our career, our job, our time, what is going on, how either to fix it or what I need to fix it. And so those skills become very critical to us.
And it seems like there's no lack of good intentions, at least on the corporate side, of people wanting to hire veterans.
You're exactly right. I get calls every day from the corporate world, both huge companies like Chesapeake and Devon, down to mom and pop businesses that say, we want to hire veterans. How do we do that? That's the great thing that Job Match does. It will help them go out and find veterans who want to work. Right now, Oklahoma is one of the top 4 economies in the nation. And I know that because Governor Fallon just told the cabinet that. And she says, we want to keep it going. We want to keep moving on that. And it has been a lot of that, paying attention to the details. How do we keep people not just employed, but how do we help them to grow and to become more proficient at what they do and to expand into areas that they've never had the opportunity to do before. So JobMatch.com will help us do that from the employer side, from the employee side, and certainly from the veteran side.
Yeah, and certainly a great place for anyone to start, whether you are a veteran, you have a family member or a veteran, or if you're just looking for a job and you're a civilian as well.
That's right. And if you're an employer and you want a particular kind of person with particular skills, you want someone who is very self-motivated, self-driven, person who knows how to take direction, a person who is a good team leader, a person who's honest and has integrity. Those are the kind of folks that we're going to have on OKJobMatch.com.
All right, thank you so much, General Rita Aragon. Now, we do have much more about the benefits of hiring veterans on our website. Just go to OKHorizon.com, where we have an interview with Governor Mary Fallon on the role veterans will play in Oklahoma's economy. Plus, we'll also look at an interesting program to help disabled veterans become entrepreneurs. All that and more at OKHorizon.com.
Still to come on Oklahoma Horizon. Food for thought. But first, unfit to fight.
Well, under intense pressure to trim its budget, the military is dismissing a rising number of soldiers who do not meet its fitness standards. Obesity is now the leading cause of ineligibility for people who want to join the armed forces. And according to military officials, expanding waistlines are even becoming a national security concern.
The nation's childhood obesity problem is becoming a military readiness issue.
1 in 4, that's 1 in 4 young Americans is too overweight to enlist. Being overweight or obese is the leading medical reason why young adults cannot join the military.
Agriculture Secretary Tom Vilsack joined Mayo in addressing Coast Guardsmen at the U.S. Coast Guard Station in South Portland, Maine. Vilsack said USDA is working to improve the nutrition and fitness of the nation's children.
Indeed, providing more fruits and vegetables, more whole grains, more low-fat dairy, less sweets, less sugar and salt, and fat content in those meals. We are partnering with the National Football League and the Dairy Council to encourage youngsters to use up to 60 minutes of their day in physical activity, get them moving, get them away from the TV screen and the computer screen.
Vilsack said child nutrition and fitness is a national security issue.
So this is a massive effort from birth all the way up through high school to try to improve the nutritional quality so that we can provide this country with a large enough pool of resources and people that we can continue to do the job that you all are now doing, which is to defend this country so well.
Now, last year, the military kicked out 15 times the number of soldiers and Marines for being physically unfit than just 6 years ago, which, according to retired General Ben Robinson, makes how we treat our returning troops all the more important.
It is not a very easy thing to do. In fact, we have some statistics that say that only about 25% of America's young people are qualified either academically or physically or with a drug issue that can even qualify for military service. So that cuts it down. If you're a young person and you're thinking about going in the military and you do have the academic background and the physical background and you've lived a drug-free life, and there's only 25% of you, and we don't show that we're committed to helping you make that transition back into the civilian world, that's an issue of national security.
And finding people fit enough to serve is not cheap. The cost to train and recruit a soldier is right at $50,000 per person. Want to share something you've seen here today? Well, all of our episodes are streaming on our YouTube channel at Oklahoma Horizon TV. Or you can subscribe to our weekly free podcasts on iTunes. Well, there are multiple reasons why Americans are too heavy, but few will deny how we eat and what we eat certainly makes an impact. Here's our Paige Wallace.
Teaching youth the connection between food and health is a goal Yukon High School teacher Louise Terry strives to achieve, yet it was also a lesson that changed her life.
Less than 2% of red pepper, carrot, onion.
Today's lesson:
ingredients are listed
how to make a healthy egg sandwich.
So the fat in an egg comes from what? The yolk. So if you remove the yolk from the egg, how much of the fat are you removing? All of it. All of it. Very good.
Yukon High School teacher Louise Terry is teaching students about the importance of making healthy choices through her personal nutrition and food science classes.
Outside aisles, why? Well, we know that this is the first generation of children that are not going to outlive their parents, and that's a very frightening statistic. We are the #1 country with obesity. We're the #1 country with the most people with diabetes, high blood pressure, and cancer. And that's what I do, is to teach the students how to make healthier choices and how to help their own parents, because many go home and they're teaching their parents what they're learning in class, and their parents didn't know that. And then when they grow to have their own family, they can pass that down, and hopefully they'll be the generation that stops the epidemic that we're in right now. Very good.
Learning healthy choices as well as how to cook.
And so yes, the preparation, learning how to prepare the food is very important. Today they're learning about egg cookery, and one of the principles of egg cookery is to use low heat, and they're not supposed to have color on them. And so you crack an egg, and what do you hear? The sizzle. Well, you're toughening your protein, you're losing your nutrients already, you're overcooking it, and you're altering the actual flavor of the way the food should be. So the kids come in here, they learn the proper cooking techniques, and then they're learning that the food tastes better. It's not what?
And is better for you. Patrick Wallace says he's learning how to eat right.
I'm doing bodybuilding competition, teen division. I'll be trying to get into the 185 weight class. Over the summer, I started looking at my nutrition a little more because I was just eating very unhealthy.
And for Sawyer Hall, he plans on using his new skills to pursue a career in the food industry.
I wanted to do culinary arts, and I knew it was a prerequisite to take culinary arts because I want to be a pastry chef when I get older.
I want you to do nutritional analysis today also.
Terry teaches her students the connection between food and health, a lesson she had to first learn herself.
I weighed 335 pounds, and I've taught nutrition and foods all my life, and I've gone around and tasted everything that the students make, and I finally took responsibility for my own health. And it's a journey. First round, I lost the weight with exercise. 3,500 calories equal a pound of fat, whether it's good foods or bad foods. And to lose that, you have to have a deficit, and you can't stop eating. Then your body shuts down, and it holds every calorie you take. So you have to eat to lose weight, and people don't understand that, and that was hard for me to understand, even though I taught this. So then I finally put it to the test of the nutrition and the 6 small meals a day, and I knew why that was more important, to keep the blood sugars level and even, and so that you're not starving all the time, to keep the body refueled. And the weight started coming off. The students see it coming off, so they see it, and it's encouraging to them, and that's what I should have been doing years ago.
An opportunity to set an example by teaching the importance of nutrition in a life-changing way. In recent years, Miss Terry's classes competed at the FCCLA Culinary Arts Competition, earning them over $100,000 in cash prizes.
Next time on Oklahoma Horizon, we sit down with a Harvard professor who says many of the young people heading off to college may want to reconsider.
We think we've gone way too far down the road of academic elitism. It sounds funny from a guy who's from Harvard, but we think there's been too much emphasis on strictly academic success, not enough emphasis on the real-world practical skills you need.
Education, employment, and prosperity on Oklahoma Show for the Heartland, Oklahoma Horizon. Well, that's going to wrap us up for today, but you can see more of any of our stories on our website at okhorizon.com. You can watch us on the go with our weekly podcasts on iTunes. Follow us throughout the week on Twitter at OK Horizon TV, or just become a Horizon fan on Facebook. I'm Rob McClendon. Thanks for watching. See you back here next time.
Horizon is made possible by the Oklahoma Department of Career and Technology Education and the Oklahoma Department of Agriculture, Food, and Forestry. Thank you for watching Oklahoma Horizon.